screen of that. Oh. First of all, you just won't believe how liberating it is to have a shower in your van. Come back, do some stretching, have a shower, feel like $1 million, £1 million, off you go. Anyway, I've had a message from Screwfix to say that my inverter is ready to collect. I don't know if I want to drive all the way to Cardigan today, so I'm probably going to do that tomorrow. The main thing now is to drive into Fishguard, try and find somewhere to park in there, go to the co-op and buy food. I'm kind of out. I think I'm pretty much out of fruit and bread, milk. I need to do a basic shop. So that's the next thing on the list. At some point I need to find a laundrette because I've got all my work clothes that need washing, and then I can put them to one side because I'm not going to need them till the winter probably. And I've got loads of running gear and just general gear that I want to wash now. Got a big bag, but I think there's a caravan and camping club site a little bit further up the coast, so I might book into there for a couple of days, and that'll give me a chance to just sort of get that kind of some of those chores done while I'm working, because I've got 5 days of quite serious report writing to do this week starting tomorrow. But let's take it a step at a time. Let's get into Fishguard and do a food shop, and then I can plan where I'm going to spend the night. I've got somewhere in mind that's kind of on the way to Cardigan, but we'll see. Right, let's get going. So how much food did you buy, John? I hear you ask. Well, I'd say it was approximately a shit ton. Turns out that the co-op high street that I saw on Google Maps turned out to be like a massive co-op supermarket, almost hypermarket, with quite a big car park that I probably would have parked in quite easily with a van. It's about a mile away from here, but yeah, I had to lump about 15 kilos worth of food back down the hill, but I got it done and treated myself to some extra bits and pieces that were in that shop that I wouldn't normally buy. Things like some yogurts, Alpo yogurts and stuff like that. Because I'm doing a lot of exercise, so I need to make sure I'm properly fueled, and I'm quite hungry because I didn't eat properly. Well, I didn't eat anything after the run except for a recovery drink. So yeah, so I'm currently parked on the Marine Drive car park, which overlooks where the ferries go in and out of Fishguard Port. So I'm just gonna have some lunch and have a quick look at the harbour from here, and then plan my next move. I've got to be in Cardigan for Monday. I'll try and do that early in the morning, so I'll look for somewhere to stop tonight free near Cardigan or on the way to Cardigan. Yeah, it's all great. So I went down to the beach by Dinas Cross, had a coffee and chilled out by the beach. There's a place above the village called Dinas Cross. It's a scenic outlook, and it's marked down on Park for Night as a place to stop. And I didn't want to come up here too early, but it's gone 3 o'clock now, about 3:30. The weather's due to break. I think it might be quite wild up here, which would be fun. There's one other van at the other end of the lay-by, and there are 2 other cars just parked up looking at the view, and there's room for another 1 or 2 cars in there, so we're not hogging the space. But this is, yeah, I'm going to stay here for the night because it's free. There was a really interesting campsite actually up on the headland, but it's £20 a night, and I'm just trying to save money at the moment and just pay for sites when I need to do laundry and stuff like that. But yeah, it's an amazing view from here. That's the view from my window and my bedroom window. Not bad. Okay, it's now Saturday the 24th of June. I've just spent a really busy week working, writing a survey report for Rochester Castle for Big Architects and English Heritage, and I've stayed on a couple of campsites for a couple of days, and then I had a day wild, and then I ended up 2 nights at £10 a night at this amazing little spot just outside Borth, on the edge of, I think it's between Borth and I think Inglas, I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it, but it was a really nice spot. You basically parked up right next to a sort of, I don't know, 4 or 5 meter high pebble sort of bank, and then the other side is a beach, sandy beach. And so the first day I got there was kind of on Thursday morning I got there. I was just going for a swim in my breaks. I haven't swum for a couple of years, and yeah, just climb over this pebble bank and then just sort of jump in the sea. And yeah, I kind of put in a load of extra hours, did some really early starts in the last week to try and make up for time I thought I was going to lose for having to pick up the inverter and buy some wiring and stuff. And ended up doing 5 hours more than I needed to, or I'm the kind of amount of time I've normally spent in a week on a report. It's going to run into Monday now, unfortunately, but I am kind of 5 hours ahead of the game. Hey everyone, this is editing John from the future. It's actually the 22nd of July. I'm still alive and well. I'm not gonna, let the cat out of the bag what's happening, but there's a lot of amazing stuff happening now. I just wanted to go back, and I realised I'd missed a little bit of kind of commentary about some of the other things I did, the amazing things that I would like to talk about, and one of them was in that period of sort of heading towards Mahuntlith. There, I was working for a week, and I was just driving around looking for kind of free sites and places that I could write my reports. And I spent a beautifully sunny day at a place called, I think you pronounce it Muntis, MWNT. It's a National Trust car park, and there's some cliffs there. There's a beautiful little chapel, and I just rocked up there about 8 o'clock in the morning and just started writing my report. And in my coffee breaks, there was a little National Trust shop there. I could get a coffee and then climb over this little hill and sit down by the cliffs and watch the dolphins, which was absolutely incredible. So I spent a day there. Then I spent 2 days on a caravan and camping club Cardigan Bay site, which was very nice, but not actually at Cardigan Bay. It's about 2 miles inland, and I kind of bashed my way down to the beach. And you get to this point where it's kind of almost, well, it's very, very difficult to work out where you're supposed to go, because you come off this footpath onto a little lane and it splits up into 3. And there was a couple that lived there, very kindly have kind of drawn a map and laminated it and stuck it to their gate to show you where to go, to clarify it. And while I was just looking at the map, the guy came out and we just ended up having a chat. Walked down this lane, bumped into another guy who was just playing with his dog outside his house that he was renovating, and got chatting to him, got chatting to some other people to find my way to this beach. Ended up losing the trail and ended up in a stream for a bit. And it seems like it's quite common, because there's a rope up the side of this bank, muddy bank, to pull yourself up through the trees to get back onto the main track, which is hilarious. And then, yeah, a little bit of walking on the coast. Then I spent a night at Aberystwyth Seafront. It's another one of these free park ups on the Park for Night app. Slightly bizarre, to be honest. It was beautifully sunny evening when I got there. It's kind of late afternoon. I had to put my van on the chocks, on the wedges, on my ramps, to get it level, which is a bit odd when you're parked right on, Aberystwyth Seafront. And it was a funny sort of thing, because it was a beautiful sunset. It was a beautiful evening, loads of people walking around, and a lot of people just didn't seem to give a toss that you were there. But there were a few people that would come by and just drop little comments to make you know that you weren't welcome there, which was a real shame, because we're all human beings. I live in my van. If you don't like me, just come, maybe talk to me, see what I'm about. But
So it was a bit of a weird emotional mini roller coaster, you know. But anyway, it was an interesting spot to do. I don't think I'd stop there again. I think if you can get further down the beach towards the end, it's probably a little bit better. You don't see quite so many people, but they were digging the road up there, so I was right slap bang in the middle, which is probably part of the problem. But it's an interesting place, and there's lots of interesting kind of like independent stores there and stuff like that. Yeah, and then that stay at the campsite at Borth, it was a bit of a revelation for me. Turned up and there were some people there who were long-term living in vans, you know, quite old vans, people who'd been spending a lot of time in, you know, Portugal, Spain, and then going down to Morocco, especially since since we left the EU, since Brexit. So it's just fascinating. You know, it was a turning point for me, and a point where things were starting to settle down a bit in the van, and just feeling more confident about talking to people and sharing experiences. And you know, I found that people are so helpful. You know, people that live in their vans are all experiencing difficulties, and they're very open to share their experiences and share their knowledge to help each other out. I've had some really amazing experiences with some fantastic people. You know, it's still up and down, there's still hardships, but you'll have to keep watching my videos to find out what those ups and downs are. But on the whole, I'd say it's very much up. So yeah, I've got 2 days to kind of look around this kind of area in Monthlyth, and I'm going to try and get an ascent up Cadair Idris. I'm looking for a break in the weather. I've got to go to Monthlyth now. I left, I don't want to go pay for another campsite for a few days, and but I foolishly forgot to empty my chemical toilet in the last campsite that I was staying on, that I was paying £20 a night for, and didn't realise how full it was. And then the last few days I've been weeing in bowls. I was told about, I drove back to Aberystwyth, and the rugby club there, they let you for £5, they let you use they have an ascent toilet facility in the back, and you can stay there for the night in your camper van or your motorhome. And so yeah, I drove back there, did that, met some nice people there, chatted to them for ages. So I ended up being like 2 or 3 hours behind what I was expecting to do today. But it's been such a hectic week with work and trying to sort stuff out in the van that I'm just kind of into chilling a bit this weekend. So one of the things, so the things I'm learning is that if you think you might need to empty the loo, just do it. If you're paying for a campsite, fill up with water, charge everything out, empty your toilet, and then the things you don't have to worry about for a little while. So yeah, now it's funny how you follow your nose and you kind of think that you'll, you know, okay, I'll head towards Monthlyth and I'll get a big food shop in there and then start driving along the coast and look for somewhere else to stay. And I started feeling really hungry, and if I'm going to run later, I need to make sure I'm properly fueled. So I was looking for a lay-by, and then all of a sudden there's one that's just off the main road. It's like, you know, 10 meters away from the main road on the banks of the river, and this is what I've got in the background. And you can see like Canadian geese out there, and the sheep on the banks of the river. It's an absolutely beautiful spot. So yeah, I can hear oyster catchers there. I couldn't believe my luck. I just came in and just started laughing at the loveliness of it all. So I'm just sitting here chilling for a bit. I'm gonna make a cup of tea, eat some decent food, and then just have a chill, and then I'll head in towards the co-op. There's a big co-op in Monthlyth, so I'll get a big food shop in there. I still haven't had to raid my kind of emergency tinned vegan ravioli and stuff like that yet, and I've got some food that I made the other day, so I'm doing kind of okay for food generally, but I do need to stock up. And now I've got rid of some of the kind of duplicate things, I can look at getting some other stuff anyway. But yeah, so I'm going to chill here for a bit. I've got a few ideas of where I might stay tonight. I've been checking. That's one of the other things I'm learning, is that you have to keep researching ahead of where you're going. Look out for the spots, and quite often I'm driving along and I suddenly recognise a place that I've seen on an app. Prices of campsites have gone up a bit ridiculously. I've tried to get into the Llyn Gwynant campsite. It's kind of at the base of or close to the base of the Watkins Path up Snowdon, and they're now charging £41 a night for a motorhome over 6 meters or over 5.5 meters, I think it is now. It's on the banks of the lake with a hookup, so that's all you can do. You can just have a hookup there, and it's £41. And they used to let you park your van up and stay in a tent. So I had my camping gear with me, and I thought, okay, well, I'll go there. It's £13 a night to stay in a tent, and I'll just park the van up. But they're saying they don't allow vans over 5.5 meters now, so I can't even do that, which is really fucking disappointing, because that's, you know, part of one of the main things that I wanted to do for this trip, is to go and run the parts of Snowdonia that I ran in races that were in cloud, and it looks like all that hot weather's gone, and it's not raining at the moment, but it's very low cloud. But you know, it is what it is. If there isn't going to be a weather window, I've decided I'm just going to start heading north. Just keep heading north, and I'll just check out Dolgaflow and places like that, and maybe I'll, you know, try and do it on the way back. A lot of people have been saying that Scotland is much easier to find places to pull over. You just pull over by the side of the road and stay the night, and no one cares. Wales is starting to get worse, unfortunately. But it is what it is, and you know, I've just got to lead this kind of slightly mercurial lifestyle and just adapt as I go, so that's fine. It has been really frustrating a few times. You know, I've bought this new big inverter, but wiring it in, I bought some extra cables and just realised that they're probably not going to be quite long enough. So, and it's a bit ambiguous about how it should be wired in. And I don't really want to screw the rest of my 12-volt system up just trying to put an inverter in when the small one works. It works fine for work. If I want to do video editing and music editing, it needs to go through a bigger inverter, or need to be done when I'm on hookup. So this is probably why this video is going to come out quite a way behind when I recorded it. But you know, it's all valid. But yeah, on the whole, it is quite an emotional roller coaster at the moment. And, you know, things go wrong when you're living in your van, and things go wrong. It can be really tiring. And when you are tired and things go wrong, it's quite hard to, you know, you get stuff done because you just have to, but it can be really tiring. But some of the positives are finding places like this, finding that place I've just camped at near Borth, right next to the beach. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, I think it was the Thursday night, I think I slept for about 10 hours straight through. It was the best night's sleep I've had in absolutely years. I slept like a baby. It was amazing. And I had the vent over, the wind, and last night was really good as well. It was you could hear the sea crashing away, the wind was blowing, and I had the vent open so I could hear it all. It was just absolutely amazing, lovely. And so yeah, great for you, Aberystwyth Rugby Club, for letting people empty your toilets for a small fee at your place. I think that's fantastic. And also for the golf club, you know, Borth, for you know, opening up your car park to motorhomes, because you know, it's a good price for people who can be autonomous with their own loos and everything. It's just absolutely perfect. 10 quid a night is great, and if those funds can go towards your club, then brilliant. So anyway, I'm gonna eat my apple, I'm gonna make a cup of tea, I'm gonna chill and look at the beautiful view. If the clouds are higher, I'd be looking at Cadair Idris here, but I'm looking at clouds at the moment. But you know, today's gonna just be a day of just sort of like cruising around, getting chores done, and then just trying to find somewhere a bit later to stay. And if I get in an ascent of Cadair Idris, that would be great. If not, it might be tomorrow. If not, it might be another time. Right, I made a bit of a dash to come to Cadair Idris. I'm at the top now, that's the trig point. The weather, there's a kind of weather window. It's due to, we're due thunderstorms tomorrow, and
There we keep getting breaks in the clouds. I've managed to come to the top, and then I'm planning to run down. It took me just under an hour and 9 minutes to kind of fast hike up. There was a little bit of running, but I'm hoping to run down most of it. I'll just hang around up here a little bit to see if we get a clearing in the cloud. But I kind of did a sustained kind of like ultra pace up here to see how the legs were and the body forwards, and they felt really good actually. I was sipping tailwind on the way up and it felt great. So that's really positive. I mean, if I get a weather window in Snowdonia, I'd be happy to, you know, go outside if you can. So I'm going to go off the back with the So anyway, I'm not going to take any more footage on the way down. I just want to run down for the pure love of it. But yeah, and then I'm just going to make the rest of the day up from here. But yeah, this is awesome. Okay, back down the bottom. Took about 41 minutes, including a pee stop and a couple of little looks at the view. Yeah, 41. Oh, that's absolutely amazing, wasn't it? My legs were complaining a little bit at the bottom, but yeah, that was absolutely amazing. Absolutely loved that. Anyway, right, I'm going to go back to the van for a shower. Look at me. And then I'm just going to drive. I'm probably going to go back to Mahuntleth and then drive that bit of west coast that I missed out to get here, which means going back on myself about 16 miles, but I had to do that already this morning. And I would like to look at that bit of coast and yeah, find somewhere to stop for the night. I'm not really fussed. I've just done something I wanted to do for a little while and took an opportunity for this weather window, which has caught me by surprise really. But I know, right, that's that done for today, and absolutely chuffed with rocks.